Hi, my name is Sam, and this video is an attempt to show anyone online how they can process the data that we've been seeking admin assistance with. The first thing, of course, is to set up a schedule. We view the weeks from the beginning of the month, and then we make a calendar, and the calendar goes from the beginning of the month and has a focus. So for instance, I would add a group, and I apply my role as the group, and now this becomes the group, and I view this group from that perspective of the week, and I can take this week and orient it from the perspective of the present week, the prior week, and next week. And since much of the work that I perform is monthly, we can do this also at the level of month, so that this week could be viewed in perspective of last month, the present week, which the present week is the 15th to the 21st. But presently that would be to indicate this week, next week, and the week prior. And then if we went to the level of the month, it would be the 15th to the 21st, so that the monthly compliance work that was performed in the third week is coming back on its cycle. And then we would change the view to those calendar sets. So we've got the open and closed monthly visuals, but the present is here, and I'm going to take an event and use an example for applying what we call the Collatz path. So in this particular one, it has to do with an expenditure. Expenditures are on the most basic level, money out. So we're going to, Google Contact is the primary method of indication of types. So I use this as a connection to entities and events, people, places, and things, as well as activities, actions, and those things that we want to package. If we look at expenditures, we can link it, and then we have to identify what the expenditure is, relate it to whether or not it's recurring, and if it is recurring, make sure that it falls into a budget where we can assess whether or not it's being properly maintained. Currently, nothing is being maintained. Everything is being done happenstance. If it happens, it may or may not be addressed, as opposed to if something happens, has it happened before? And if it has happened before, is it something that we can apply a system that recognizes the recurrence of certain activities, events, expenses, so that we're not being caught off guard? So I've got my chart of accounts here. I've got my expenses, and we reconcile expenses as an entity. This is the entity base, and then we've got it based in the year. So if I bring it to this, I can get the link to the cell and make it part of the event. So now this event is linked to the type. Whenever we search for this type of event going forward, we'll be looking for any expenditure-related event, and it'll inherit this focus. Obviously, I haven't established this with the link, but once it is linked, the effort should be listed as an effort that has a pathway that's been traversed. The inheritance allows us to inherit those links so that it never has to be relinked. The key would be the context, to make sure that the relations are appropriate for the context in which we use them. So in this case, we've got the expenditure, we've got the vendor, and then we've got the image of the present focused expenditure. It's got 3 admins. They've each put in 20 to 30, 31 hours. Not a single one has gone through the application of the series of steps to recognize, here's my focus. Every focus has inherent in it an objective. Between the focus and the objective, there's a series of steps that involve identification. Based on the identification of the focus, the objective or the achievement of the objective calls upon a certain workflow that has the most appropriate use case. It's most likely to result in achieving the objective. Currently, we're just below $500 a month in expense, and we've not achieved the ability to indicate presence, beginning of the workday, and conveying that information in a collaboration so that other people could follow the path and then identify events and entities such that the Collatz path is applied and built into inheritance of all the links. And once they're linked, anybody that follows thereafter can see the workflow that was used, recognize the elements, or at least become aware of the elements so that they can add value. And a single added value, if it's put in the proper context, will cause progress. Whereas leaving any element that could have been related and linked out of that equation ensures that the chaos reigns. Thank you.